Hey all, welcome to Homeschool and welcome back to Class 11 Physics series. We started with the chapter Motion in a Plane, where in my previous video I told few aspects of vectors. So vectors is a very important tool to understand some of the concepts of physics. So as a part of our study, we have completed basic introduction on vectors and what are the different types of vectors we have seen. And we also understood what do we mean by parallel shift, right? So such basic aspects are very important to understand. Keeping those aspects, let's learn about vector addition today. This is really very important concept. So vector addition, how do we add vectors, how do we subtract vectors, and how we can multiply them. Say if it was a scalar quantity, they can be added according to the rules of algebra, right? Say for example, you want to add some mass. You got 5 kgs and 2 kgs. You want to add them. You will just do 5 plus 2, altogether 7 kgs. But vector addition is something different. Okay, we don't follow the rules of algebra here. So we do it in a different way, right? So let us learn all methods of vector addition. So our today's concept. So today I am going to complete all the concepts of vector. Watch the video till the end. Definitely all your doubts will get cleared on concepts. Fine. So vector addition, right? And vector addition can be done by two methods. One is graphical method of vector addition, graphical method, and the other one is analytical method. So there are two methods of vector addition, analytical and graphical method. Okay, and both methods we will discuss in a detailed way. Coming to graphical method. Under graphical method, again we have three types. One is triangle law of vector addition. That is most important law. Okay, triangle law of addition, vector addition. So you have studied the definition of vectors, right? Yesterday I told you vector quantity is that quantity which has both magnitude, direction. Along with that, the quantity must obey the triangle law of vector addition, right? So now we will understand what actually we mean by triangle law of vector addition. And not only that, we have parallelogram addition, parallelogram vector addition, and polygon law of vector addition. Okay, so these are the three methods we will study under graphical method, right? So now let us discuss one by one. So what is our first method that we are discussing? Triangle law of vector addition. Okay, just observe these two vectors that I am drawing on a board. This is vector A, some vector A, and the other vector is this one. So this is our vector B. So I need to add both vectors. So how can I add both vectors? You know what? There is a rule to follow here. The head of one vector must be in touch with the tail of another vector. That way you must add, right? So what I will write here is, head. Let me write it here. Actually, I am writing the definition of triangle law of vector addition. Head of one vector must contact with tail of another vector. Okay, so definition is not complete, just the first point. So this is the head of this vector and this is the tail of B vector. So this point and this point must be in touch with each other. So what will I do? How do they touch? So I will shift this vector parallel. Okay, so yesterday we studied parallel shift, right? Say the vector can be slided parallel so that its direction and magnitude will not change. It is the same vector. Okay, so vector can be slided parallel. So this vector I will bring parallel so that this point and this point will have a contact. So observe how am I bringing here. So this is vector A and this one, you know, I'm bringing here. So it will come parallel, right? So this is our, you know, vector B, right? So this is how you can join the two vectors. Okay, so very important, head of one vector must be in touch with the tail of another vector. Okay, see, you can you know what, keep this as it is. You can shift this also. Okay, what I did, I kept this vector as it is. I did parallel shift for B vector. In a similar way, you can keep B vector as it is. Say I'm keeping B vector as it is. I can shift A vector parallel. Okay, so when I shift A vector here, you know, A vector goes like this, right? So you can keep A vector as it is and bring B vector parallel. Okay, do a parallel shift for B vector. Or you can keep B vector as it is. You can bring parallel shift of A vector, however you want. Okay, but the thing is, on doing this parallel shift, head of one vector should be in touch with tail of another vector. Okay, so now if you join these two vectors like this, okay, see, actually these vectors are moving in this direction. So resultant line you have to draw like this. Okay, and this is what we call resultant vector. So what is the designation of this vector? This is called as resultant vector. Okay, and resultant vector is always equal to A vector plus B vector. Okay, so instead of writing resultant vector, I can also write sum of A vector plus B vector. So what did I do? I added A vector with B vector. What is the answer I got? Answer is A vector plus B vector. This itself is the answer. Okay, so this term we can also call it as resultant vector. Okay, so you might be wondering, it seems to be a question mark, right? So you added A vector, B vector. So what is the value of resultant vector? It is A plus B. A plus B. A plus B itself is the answer. So instead of calling A vector plus B vector, I will call with the term resultant vector. So this we will call it as R vector, resultant vector. Okay, so this is what we call triangle law of vector addition. Okay, so what did I write here? Head of one vector must contact with the tail of another vector. Okay, so resultant vector is shown in opposite direction. Resultant, you get a resultant vector. Okay, so how do you get that resultant vector? By joining these 2 points. Okay, so resultant vector is shown in opposite direction. Opposite direction. Okay, so this is triangle law of vector addition. So hope the concept is getting clear for you. So here, what is the resultant vector? How do you draw a resultant vector? See, this is moving in this direction. Resultant vector's direction must be like that. You know, this is how you will show the resultant vector. Okay, so this is our resultant vector. Okay, so hope you are getting clear. Say this one I can connect to a displacement concept. Displacement is a vector quantity, right? So imagine you have an object which has moved like this in the x-axis. Okay, so this is our S1 vector. Okay, and the same object again, you know, it is moving in this direction. Okay, in this direction, and let the displacement of this is S1 vector, displacement of this is S2 vector. Then what is the net displacement? When I ask you what is the net displacement, so you can always you can join these two. Okay, this point and this point like this, and you know, resultant vector's value will give you net displacement value. Okay, so this is one displacement vector. This is another object. From here it started, from there it went there. This is one displacement vector, another displacement vector. If I ask you what is the net displacement, okay, then this value, the value of resultant vector is what giving you the net displacement. Okay, so this is how vectors are generally used in identifying such things. Okay, clear? See, and when you draw a line of resultant vector, you have to be very careful. Okay, so this is like moving in one direction. You see here, it's like moving in this direction. Resultant vector's direction, you can't put the arrow mark like this. You can't show the arrow mark this way. This will be wrong. Okay, resultant vector's direction must be opposite to this direction. Opposite in the sense it should be like this only. You can't put arrow like this. You have to put, it's coming from this point, it has the same direction till here. Resultant vector's direction must be opposite. That is the rule. Okay, so arrow mark direction should be like this. Arrow mark direction should not be like this. Okay, so this is wrong. It has to be like this. Okay, so this is what we mean by triangle law of vector addition. Why do we call triangle law? It looks like a triangle, right? So that's why triangle law of vector addition. Okay, fine. And now let us learn few more things about triangle law of vector addition here. The length of resultant vector. Observe carefully and note down these points in your books, guys. Very, very important. The length of resultant vector, will give the magnitude of resultant vector. I'll explain this with one example, don't worry. Magnitude of resultant vector. Okay, and the second point is the angle. You know what? This is a resultant vector and this is your x-axis, actually a vector, and this angle we will call it as alpha. Okay, so angle alpha. So where did I put this alpha? It is the angle between resultant vector and x-axis vector. Okay, vector that is moving in x-axis. So this angle alpha with respect to a vector, okay, will give the direction of resultant vector. Okay, so these points are very, very important, guys. Say if you want to find out the magnitude of resultant vector, you will get that if you can measure the length of the resultant line segment. Okay, so there is this line's length, if you can measure, that itself is the magnitude of resultant vector. Okay, and if you want to find out the direction of this resultant vector, you can find that by knowing alpha. Alpha itself will tell the direction of resultant vector with respect to a vector. Okay, clear? So let us understand these sentences with one example. And this is our y vector projecting in y direction. Okay, and this is our x vector. Okay, so which has a direction towards x-axis, right? Okay, and I'll add both the vectors. Using triangle law, I can add both vectors graphically. So what I will do, this x vector I will shift, parallelly. So how can I add? This is our y vector, and head of x vector must be in contact with the tail of y vector, right? So this is how I will add. And how do I draw a resultant? You see this is moving in this direction. So resultant vector must be something like this. Okay, so this is our x vector and this is our resultant vector. Okay, see, now if I want to find the magnitude of resulting vector, it is just this length. If I can find, that's enough. That itself is the magnitude, isn't it? So how do I find this length? You observe this. This is a right angle triangle. right? So this is a right angle triangle. So in a right angle triangle, if I want to find this length, I can apply Pythagoras theorem. So I can write r square. I'm considering only magnitude. Okay, so mod of r vector, or I can just write it as r, right, is equal to r square. This side square is equal to this square plus this square. That means x square plus y square. Right, so r is equal to under root x square plus y square. Right, so this is how I can find the magnitude of resulting vector. Magnitude of resultant vector. Okay, so finding magnitude is very, very important. So magnitude of resulting vector, if you want to find out, then if it is a right angle triangle, the formed triangle is right angled, then you can just use under root x square plus y square. If you know magnitude of this y vector and magnitude of x vector, then definitely you can use this formula. Okay, so similarly, if you want to find out the direction of resulting vector, okay, so my next target is finding direction of resultant vector. So how do you find? So what is direction? It is nothing but finding alpha, right? So what is alpha here? This is your resulting vector. Alpha is the angle with respect to x-axis. Yes or no? So this is alpha. So here alpha, what is this? Okay, can I call it as tan alpha here? Right? So definitely. So tan alpha, I can write in the form of tan alpha is equal to, what is tan theta? This side divided by this side. Tan theta. This side divided by this side. Okay, so that means, y divided by x, magnitude of y divided by magnitude of x. Okay, so if you do that, you will get alpha. Alpha is equal to tan inverse of y by x. Okay, so this is how you can find the direction of resultant vector. In case if the formed triangle is right angle triangle. Observe this example, guys. An object, okay, which has moved horizontally, its displacement is 3 meters, right? Okay, and it moved vertically also something like this for about 5 meters, or take it as 4 meters. Okay, and then what is the net displacement if I ask? Okay, so what do? This is a vector, and you join. This is a resulting vector. Okay, net displacement is this only, no? So this is the displacement vector 1, this is the displacement vector 2, and the net displacement is this distance. Resulting vector's magnitude will give you net displacement, right? So how do you find the magnitude of r vector here? So r vector is equal to, and this is x vector magnitude, and this is x value actually, and this is y value. Okay, so 3 meters is x value, 4 meters is y value. So this length, how do you find? That is r is equal to under root, or you can write mod of r bar. Okay, so anything under root x square plus y square. X value is 3 meters, that is 3 square plus 4 square. If you do, you will get the magnitude of resultant vector. So that is your net displacement of an object. Okay, so like that, if you want to find out the direction, then you can find, this tan alpha value, right? So what is tan alpha here? Tan alpha is equal to this by this, that is 4 by 3. So alpha is equal to tan inverse of 4 by 3 you have to do. Okay, so hope the concepts are getting clear. This is how the questions can be asked. Object moving horizontally with the displacement this much, moving vertically with the displacement this much. Okay, so what is the net displacement? Right, so you can always use triangle. I mean, if it is a right angle triangle, graphically, this is how you can find the magnitude of resulting vector and direction of resulting vector this way. Okay, if it is any other angle, So this applying Pythagoras theorem for finding magnitude and finding tan theta, for the direction is not possible. Okay, for if you get any other angle, say for example, if the angle is something, the triangle that you got, this is one vector, this is another vector. Okay, say this is what the triangle, if you get, here you can't use the Pythagoras theorem, or you cannot use that tan alpha thing, right? Because it's not a right angle triangle. Then in that case, you can take the measurements. Okay, so take if this value, they would be given x-axis, y-axis, right? So with the scale you can measure and find the magnitude, and with the help of a protractor you can find the angle. So that's a graphical way of finding if it is any other triangle. But if it is a right angle triangle that is forming, then you can always use this formula for finding resultant vector, magnitude of resultant vector, and you can use this formula to find the alpha, that is the direction of resultant vector. So now we will see one beautiful example that is there in your book based on this particular concept. See this problem, guys, from your book itself. Rain is falling vertically with a speed of 35 meter per second. Winds starts blowing with a speed of 12 meter per second in east to west direction. In which direction should a boy waiting at a bus stop holding his umbrella? Okay, see here, what did they tell you? First you try to plot a diagram here. Okay, rain is falling vertically with a speed of 35 meter per second. So rain is falling vertically down, right? And this is a vector, rain vector. Okay, so VR vector, right? And what is its value and what is the magnitude? Magnitude here is, okay, I'm talking about the magnitude, that is VR is equal to 35 meter per second, right? And then winds starts blowing with a speed of 12 meter per second, okay, in east to west direction, right? So you are aware of the directions, I feel. This is east, this is west, and this is our north, and this is our south, isn't it? Okay, so now east to west direction, wind is blowing, right? And this is a wind vector, right? And it is blowing with the speed of 12 meter per second. 12 meter per second, east to west direction, this arrow, right? So what can I do here? Can I apply triangle law of addition here? Okay, what they are asking, in which direction the boy should stand, isn't it? Say here, this vector, this wind vector, I will do a parallel shift. Okay, I'll make a parallel shift here, I'll bring it here. Okay, so I'll join it. Head of this vector and tail of wind vector. So this is our wind vector, right? So what is its magnitude? Magnitude VW is equal to 12 meter per second. Okay, so how do you draw a resultant vector here? So this is the direction and this is how you will put a resultant. This is R resultant. Okay, so what are they asking here? They are asking about the direction. That means they are asking about this angle, that is alpha, right? So if you want to know the direction of resultant vector, you will have to find this value, that is alpha, right? Okay, so now let us try to find out. First, magnitude, let us try to, they didn't ask you the magnitude, but still we will try to find the magnitude of resultant vector here. Okay, so that is R is equal to under root x square plus y square, right? So what is x here? That is wind, velocity of a wind, that is 12 square plus velocity of a rain is 35 square, right? I'm finding this length. Okay, so just I have applied Pythagoras theorem here. So I'll get magnitude of resultant vector as 37 meter per second, right? This is what I'm getting, right? But they are asking you to find the direction of a boy, like in which direction he should stand. So definitely wind is blowing from east to west, rain is falling down. You see the direction of resultant vector, it is vertical, right? So definitely the boy must stand vertically. Okay, but in which angle he must stand? Okay, so he must stand vertically east. Okay, so he must, you see the direction of resultant vector. That's how you have to decide. Okay, so the boy must stand vertically east. Okay, in a vertical direction towards east side, but at what angle? So find out tan alpha, right? So tan alpha is equal to how much? This divided by this, right? This one, tan alpha is this one. This is our perpendicular side. Okay. So this divided by this. So that is, 12 divided by 35, right? So 12 divided by 35 is tan alpha is equal to 0.344, right? So alpha is equal to tan inverse of 0.344, which you will get it as 19 degrees. So what is the direction of a boy holding an umbrella? Boy should stand vertically towards east, vertically line, you see resultant lines direction you have to see. So vertically towards east side, vertically towards east at an angle 19 degrees. Okay, so this is the direction of a boy, right? So this is how the questions can be asked, where you can use triangle law of vector addition to solve such problems. So remember, the magnitude of resultant vector, if it is a right angle triangle, you can just use a Pythagoras theorem. And if you want to find the direction of resultant vector, you have to find the angle alpha. It is tan alpha, right? So alpha is what? Angle between resultant vector and the vector which is there along x-axis. Okay, so that's all about the concept. And now let us learn parallelogram vector addition. That is quite similar to triangle law itself. Just let us understand the exact meaning of this parallelogram vector addition. Even this parallelogram vector addition is also very simple, and somehow it looks similar to triangle law. So we say both are almost equal. Okay, so there's no difference. If you want to solve a problem graphically, you can go for triangle law, or you can also go for parallelogram law. Okay, you get the same answer, right? That's why we say both laws are almost equal. Okay, so let's understand what do you mean by this. So you have a vector x vector, okay, and you have a vector y vector. So this is x vector, this is y vector. So in case of parallelogram addition, what we do is we join vectors tail to tail. Okay, join vectors tail to tail, right? In case of triangle law, we have observed that head of one vector was joined to tail of another vector. But here what do? We join the vectors tail to tail. Let's do that. Let's join both vectors tail to tail. So this vector I will shift parallelly. So what I can do, this is our x vector and this is our y vector, right? So this is how I join the vectors tail to tail. Okay. Then what we do is, we will draw a parallelogram. So I'll extend this line and I will join like this. Okay. And you know what? Let me give some names here. Let this be O, P, Q, R. Okay. Ends of parallelogram. Hope you understood what I did. Two vectors. I joined tail to tail. I extended a lines. It became a parallelogram. Okay. And now what is a resultant vector? This is our resultant vector, the diagonal that you draw from a common origin. This is a common origin between the two vectors, right? From a common origin, you have to draw a diagonal from this end to this end, and this is our resulting vector. And also observe here, the angle between two vectors is theta. Okay, whereas the angle between resultant vector and x vector, I mean the vector which is in the x-axis, this angle is alpha. Okay, so I'm talking about two angles here. One is the angle theta, another one is angle alpha. So angle alpha is the angle between resultant vector and x vector that is lying on x-axis, and theta is angle between the two vectors. Okay, so here after joining two vectors tail to tail, what we have done? Make a parallelogram. Okay, so make a parallelogram, right? Then the diagonal drawn from a common origin, of two vectors is a resultant vector. Okay, clear? So that's what we mean by parallelogram law of addition. So two vectors we joined tail to tail. Just make a shape of extend this line like this line, you get a parallelogram, and from a common origin, from a common point of two vectors. So actually this is your vector 1 and this is your vector 2. Common origin is this. From here to here you have to draw a diagonal, and that diagonal is your resultant vector. Okay, so that's all about parallelogram vector addition. Okay, and you have to be careful with the angles. See, the angle between two vectors is theta, and the angle between resultant and with respect to x vector is alpha. Okay, so that's what you need to understand carefully. And now, and the magnitude of resultant vector is nothing but the length of the diagonal. Okay, say what are the 2 points that you need to remember? Magnitude of resultant vector, how do you find? Is the length of diagonal drawn. Clear? Say if you know the magnitude of y vector, magnitude of x vector, you will draw this, right? And then you will extend graphically and you will draw a diagonal. So using a scale, you can mention the length of this particular line. Okay, this particular diagonal. So that is what your value for magnitude of resulting vector. Okay, and now what is the direction? Direction of resultant vector is the angle alpha. Okay, the angle alpha with respect to x vector, that is the vector that is placed along x-axis. Okay, so that is your alpha. Clear? So this is how using parallelogram addition you can find resultant vectors magnitude as well as resultant vectors direction. Where we can apply this situation actually? In case of forces, say you have a block where this block is being pulled by applying a force, in this way, and the other force is acting in this direction. Okay, so a person is pulling this block towards him and this person is pulling a block towards him with certain force. Okay, so that means this is how one kind of force is acting and this is the direction of another kind of force. But where will the block move? Will the block move towards this person or will the block move towards this person? Imagine both are applying actually the same amount of force. Okay, say here also 2 newtons of force, here also you have 2 newtons of force, but in different directions. So it's like this is one vector, this is one vector. So where will this box will move? Definitely this box will move like this, right? Okay, it doesn't, the box will not go to this person, the box will not go to this person. Instead, the box will move like this. Okay, so that's what, say in such situations, we can use parallelogram of, say for example, if you want to know the magnitude of this, see the box will move something like this, right? You want to know exactly what angle, at what direction the box is moving. You know, you can always make this parallelogram, say alpha is the angle, right? Alpha will give you the direction of resultant vector, right? And if you want to know the value of resultant vector, I mean the force with which the box is actually moving in this direction, this is the magnitude, this is like a resulting vector. So its magnitude, if you want to find, it's like a diagonal, right? So you can just make a parallelogram addition, say this is the resultant vector, I mean the force with which actually the box is moving in this direction, its magnitude, say this force, if you want to find out, you know, it's just a diagonal, okay, length of a diagonal. And if you want to find the direction, like what is the deviation of direction, then this alpha, if you can find, it's enough, right? So this is how parallelogram addition can also be used to find the magnitude of resulting vector and direction of resulting vector. So this way parallelogram vector addition can be used in different situations. Okay, fine. And now if, say for example, here there is a force acting this way, I mean this is your x vector, okay, and force acting something like this, this is your y vector. Okay, so what do you do here? Actually you don't get a parallelogram, right? You will get a rectangle. And what is the resultant vector? From a common point you have to draw a diagonal, so this is your resultant vector, right? So in this case, say this is x vector, and you know what, this line is exactly similar to y, right? So I can call this line segment as y vector. Okay, so the magnitude of this line is x, the magnitude of this line is y, this much is similar to this much, right? So this is y. And if you want to find out the magnitude of this, you see this is a right angle triangle again, right? So right angle triangle, how do you find the magnitude of resulting vector? R is equal to under root Pythagoras theorem, x square plus y square, right? So this is how you can find magnitude of resulting vector. You want to find the direction, that is this alpha angle. If you want to find out, it is just y by x, isn't it? So tan alpha, you can find tan alpha is equal to this divided by this. So that is magnitude of y vector divided by magnitude of x vector. Okay, the value of y that they have given in a question and the value of x that they have given in a question, right? So if this shape is a right angle shape, you know, just by using Pythagoras theorem you can find the magnitude of resulting vector, and by using this tan theta concept you can find the direction of resulting vector. Okay, so that's all about parallelogram law of vector addition. Now we will go for very simple polygon law. See guys, this polygon law is just an extension of triangle law. This is an extension of triangle law. That's it. Okay, say for example you have a vector something like this. This is your A vector. Okay, and then this is your B vector. Okay, then this is your C vector, and this is your D vector, right? So if all these vectors, if I have to join, you know, I can join from head of one vector to tail of one vector, right? Say with A vector, this is A vector, I'll join it with B vector. How do I join? Something like this. Just I'm bringing a parallel shift here. So this is your B vector. So for B vector, I will join C vector, right? So this is our C vector. For C vector, I will join D vector. So this is our D vector, right? So A vector, B vector, C vector, D vector have joined. So what is a resultant vector? Say for example, you have an object, has a displacement, it displaced like this, and again it went like that, again it went. So what is the net displacement if I ask you? Then the net displacement is this difference, right? So how do you draw a resulting vector here? So this is how we draw a resultant, right? The direction is like this, resultant direction must be opposite. That means this is how we show a resultant vector. So this is R bar, resultant vector. So how do you find the magnitude of resultant vector here? Magnitude of resultant vector. Okay, resultant vector is just by adding all the vectors. That's it. Okay, say magnitude, that means mod of R bar or just R is equal to sum of all the vectors. A vector, say it's the magnitude of A plus B plus C plus D. And then try to remember the properties of vector addition, guys. So there are two important properties of vector addition that you must know. First one is first property, vector addition, VA in the sense vector addition. Okay, so vector addition is commutative. It's a commutative property. So what do you mean by commutative property? A vector plus B vector is always equal to B vector plus A vector itself. Okay, A vector plus B vector is equal to B vector plus A vector. Say that means, say for example, one vector you have like this, right? And another vector you have something like this is A vector and this is our B vector. Okay, so I need to add them head to tail. Okay, so this is the tail of, I'll keep the A vector as it is. I'll keep the A vector as it is here, and B vector I will bring. B vector, where did I bring? I have brought it here. So this is our B vector. So how do you show the resultant vector? Resultant vector is something like this. Okay, so R bar is equal to, how do we write? A vector, I kept it as it is. So A vector plus B vector is your R vector. Or what I can do, I can keep B vector as it is and I will shift A vector. Okay, so I will shift A vector like this. Okay, so what am I doing? B vector I kept as it is, right? So A vector I am shifting. So A vector, this vector I am shifting here, parallel shift. Okay, so this is our A vector. So what is our resultant vector? Resultant vector is this. So R bar is equal to, first I kept B vector as it is, right? So B bar plus A bar. You see, resultant vector B vector plus A vector, resultant vector here A vector plus B vector. Is there any change? Nothing, right? There will not be any change. So that's why we said A vector plus B vector can also be written as B vector plus A vector. It is same only. This is equal to this. So this is what we mean by commutative. Okay. So vector addition obeys commutative law. And the second one is vector addition is associative also. It obeys associative law. So what do you mean by associative law? A plus B plus C. A vector plus B vector plus C vector is equal to B plus A plus C. Okay. First A vector you take and later add to B plus C vector, which will be equal to B plus A. Add first and later add it to C vector. Anything is fine. Okay. So vector addition is commutative as well as vector addition is associative also. Right. So we have completed the three methods along with the properties. Triangle method of addition, parallelogram method of addition and polygon method of addition. Okay. So these three are graphical methods of vector addition. And now we will go for analytical method of vector addition, where we will learn to derive a formula. Using a formula, we can actually find the magnitude of resultant vector and the direction of resultant vector. So far, how did we find the magnitude and direction? If it's a right angle triangle, to find the magnitude we have used Pythagoras theorem, and to find the direction we used that tan alpha. Okay, whereas if it is not a right angle triangle, you have to take the measurements with the scale and then find the length of resultant vector and consider it as magnitude, right? And using a protractor, we have to find the angle, then consider it as a direction if it is not a right angle triangle, right? So all that is quite time taking. So graphically, when you cannot find magnitude as well as direction of resultant vectors, you can go for other option, that is using a formula. So first thing is we have to derive a formula. So this derivation is also very, very important. And after that, we will learn how to solve a problem using the formulas. Right? So let's go for analytical method of vector addition. Look here, already as I told you, mainly we are going to derive, to calculate magnitude and direction of resultant vector in terms of theta. Okay, so let's try to derive it. So normally, so this is a vector, let me do it little here. Okay, so this is a vector, A vector. Okay, fine. And this is our B vector, right? So let me give names here, O, P, Q. Okay, fine. So what will I do? I'll draw a parallelogram, right? So it's a parallelogram addition. I'm drawing a parallelogram and this is, what we can say, anything, yes, okay. And then what I'll do for a resultant vector, I'll draw a diagonal from O to S. So this is our resultant vector, right? Okay. So our aim is to find magnitude of this resultant vector. The length of the diagonal will give you the magnitude of resultant vector. But to find the length of the diagonal, so here it is not a right angle triangle, right? So you cannot use that Pythagoras theorem to calculate length of this diagonal, right? And you want to find out the direction. So this is the angle. Let me call this is the angle alpha. The angle alpha, in the previous case, in the graphical method, if it was a right angle triangle, what we have used? Tan alpha we have used and we calculated the direction of resultant vector. But here we cannot use. So it's not the way of graphical method that we have used so far, right? And remember, you know this, right? The angle between this is the vector B, this is the vector A, and this angle is our theta. Okay. So now you see, this is not a right angle triangle. So what I will do now is, I will extend this line. Okay. And then I will draw a perpendicular line joining to this A vector. Right. So this is our perpendicular. Now this becomes a right angle triangle. Right. And can I call this side, this B vector, magnitude of B is equal to magnitude of SP, yes or no? So here OQ is equal to PS, definitely. So it's the same vector. If I bring it here, it becomes a parallel vector, right? So what is this? This is our B. Right? So this is our B. It's like a B vector only. Fine. And what about this? When this is a B vector, the same thing, parallel shift if I do, this is a B vector. And then what about this angle? This angle is nothing but our theta. Yes or no? So this angle is our theta. Fine. Looking at this figure, I can find two triangles here. One is the triangle, okay, let me call this as N. Okay, one is the triangle OONS and another triangle another triangle PNS. Okay, so you observe this triangle, guys. You observe this triangle. Now it is a right angle triangle, right? So this one. So this is our resultant vector. To find the magnitude of this, if you know this value and this value, you can easily find the magnitude of this line, right? That's what I am trying to do now. Okay, with the help of this small triangle, with the help of this small triangle. Okay, so now let us only consider the triangle, this one, smaller one. Okay, so let me consider the triangle PNS. Okay, so here, can you tell me what is sine theta? Sine theta is nothing but perpendicular divided by hypotenuse, right? So it is perpendicular by hypotenuse. So what is perpendicular? Sn. Hypotenuse is PS, right? So here sine theta is equal to Sn value itself we have to find out. So Sn divided by PS. So PS is what? It is nothing but B, vector B, right? What is its magnitude? Just B. Okay, fine. So now Sn is equal to what? Can I write? Sn is equal to, Sn value, Sn is equal to B sine theta. B sine theta, right? So we got to know, this is our first equation. Sn value we got to know, it is B sine theta. Okay, in terms of theta, we got to know Sn value, that is B sine theta. Okay, now cos theta. Cos theta is equal to what? Base by hypotenuse, right? Cos theta is base divided by hypotenuse. So what is base? Base is PN. Hypotenuse is PS. So cos theta is equal to Pn divided by PS is what? It's a B vector. What is its magnitude? Just B, right? So Pn value I got to know. Pn is equal to B cos theta. Okay. So Pn is equal to B cos theta. I mean this value is B cos theta. So Pn value I got to know. Okay. Sn value I got to know. Right. So now this is what the information I want. I want to find this side and this side. That's why I have considered this triangle. Okay. So I use this information for my big triangle. Okay. So now let me consider a triangle ONS. Okay. So here I want to find the resultant vector's magnitude. This is our resultant vector. Okay. So in this triangle, this resultant vector, I mean OS itself is the diagonal. This is what our resultant vector whose magnitude I need to find out. Okay. So here what I can write if I want to find out this length, it is, I can use Pythagoras theorem, right? I can write OS square is equal to ON square plus Sn square. Okay. So what is OS? OS is what? R vector. What is its magnitude? R. So R square, my aim is to find out R only, magnitude of resultant vector, right? So R square is equal to ON. ON is what? OP. What is ON? OP. Okay, here only I'll write. ON is OP plus PN square, right? ON is what? OP plus Pn square. What is OP? You see, it is a vector. Its magnitude is A, right? So that means A plus what is Pn? Pn is B cos theta. Pn is B cos theta square plus Sn. What is Sn? Sn is B sin theta. B sin theta square. Okay, so r square is this square plus this square. Now you just simplify. Okay, so what do you get? R square is equal to, this is a plus b whole square form, right? So it is a square plus b square. B square is this much, b cos theta. So it will be b square cos square theta plus ab cos theta, right? Plus here I will write plus b square sin square theta, right? So this one I can write like this, r square is equal to a square plus, okay, see, b square cos square theta, b square sin square theta, b square common I will take, cos square theta plus sin square theta, okay, plus ab cos theta. So cos square theta plus sin square theta is 1, right? So what I can write? A square plus b square plus ab cos theta is equal to your r square. I want just r value. So r is equal to under root a square plus b square plus ab cos theta is your formula to calculate magnitude of resultant vector. So what is this formula? To calculate magnitude of resultant vector, right? So this is how we have derived. So what is a here? Magnitude of a vector. What is b square? What is b? Magnitude of b vector. Okay, ab we know, cos theta. Theta is what? It is not alpha, it is the angle between two vectors. This is where you have to be careful. Theta is different, alpha is different. Alpha gives you direction of resultant vector. Theta is the angle between two vectors, right? Okay, so now we got to know one formula to find the magnitude of resultant vector. Now we will try to find out alpha. So next step is finding direction of, we are deriving a formula to find the direction of resultant vector. Okay, resultant vector, that is alpha. Okay, so this is what. So what we can write? It's a right angle triangle, we know. So now tan alpha is equal to this divided by this, right? So what is this? What is tan alpha? Tan alpha is equal to Sn divided by On, right? So what is Sn? B sin theta. And what is On? On is again OP plus Pn, right? So tan alpha is equal to B sin theta divided by OP. OP is what? A vector. What is its magnitude? Just A. Okay. A plus B cos theta. Pn value is B cos theta. Right? So this is how we can find out tan alpha. That is the direction. So alpha is equal to tan inverse of this. Okay. So this is one formula that you need to remember to find the direction. This is the basic formula that you need to find magnitude of resultant vector. Okay, so a square under root a square plus b square plus ab cos theta to find the magnitude of resultant vector. Tan alpha is equal to b sin theta upon a plus b cos theta. Okay, so this is what, hope it's a very simple derivation, nothing. You are taking two vectors, joined tail to tail, constructed a parallelogram, drawn a diagonal. Diagonal is resultant vector whose magnitude you want to find out. It's not a right angle triangle. So what we have done? Okay, we extended this x-axis, then drawn a perpendicular line. We get a small right angle triangle. Okay, so using this we found the value of this side and this side. Okay, so using these two values, now we considered this big triangle where this resulting vector is a hypotenuse of this right angle triangle. So its value, we got to know this value. So this just using Pythagoras theorem, what we have done, we just did this and we got this formula. And after that, to find this angle alpha, it's a right angle triangle now. So tan alpha is equal to this divided by this side. So this side is b sin theta divided by bottom. The base is like a plus b cos theta. Okay, so you have to practice this. So this is quite important for board examination, whereas formulas are important to solve the problems. Okay, see guys, two questions here. First one is much simple. You no need to think anything. Directly it was given. Two vectors of 50 Newton act at 45 degrees. Okay, so two vectors. There are two vectors. Let me call vector A and this is another vector B. Okay, so they are making an angle of around 45 degrees. Okay, so this is your angle theta. Okay, fine. Find magnitude and direction of resulting vector. Okay, so how do you show the resulting vector? You will draw a parallelogram, because the two vectors are touched with tail to tail. So definitely a parallelogram we will draw. Okay, and then this is our resulting vector, right? So this is our resulting vector r bar. Okay, and this is our alpha. Okay, what they are asking, find the magnitude and direction. Magnitude means length of this r bar. So to find the magnitude, what is the formula we have? R is equal to under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta, right? So what is a square plus b square? So 50 newtons each, right? Okay, let me call this as a and this as b. Okay, always x-axis with respect to x-axis is normally a and this is b. Okay, so a is how much? So 50 square plus 50 square plus 2 into 50 into 50, right, into cos theta. Okay, so what is theta? It is 45 degrees. So cos 45, right? So what is cos 45? Cos 45 is 1 by root 2, right? Cos 45 is 1 by root 2. So hope you can calculate. I'm just explaining you the method. Okay, so calculation part, hope you can do it. Fine. And now on doing this, you get a value for magnitude of resultant vector. And now they also asked you to find alpha, right? So what is alpha? Alpha is, you have a formula, right? So tan alpha is equal to what is the formula? B sin theta divided by a plus b cos theta, right? So what is b? 50. A is also 50. So sin theta, theta is what? 45. Sin 45 divided by b into b is again 50, cos 45 you have to do. Okay, so this is a much simple problem. Everything is given. They asked you to magnitude and direction. Just by using a direct formulas you can calculate. And coming to this problem, this is from your NCERT textbook. So concentrate carefully. A motorbike is racing towards north at 25 km per hour. Okay, you all know the directions, right? This is north, south, east, west, right? Okay, so now let's put the vectors. The motorbike is racing towards north at 25 km per hour. Okay, so north, motorbike is going towards north. So this is our VB vector. Okay, going towards north. And what is VB given? What is its magnitude given? Magnitude given was 25 km per hour. Okay, very good. And later, okay, so first let us, this is our north, okay, this is our south, this is east and this is west. To avoid confusion, okay, let me draw like that. And then what is that they have given? And water current in that region is 10 km per hour in the direction of 60 degree east of south. Understanding this language is very, very important. Okay, so water current is moving 60 degrees east of south. That means from south it is moving east. What is the meaning of this sentence? From south, Okay, water current is moving to east. Okay, by what angle? By 60 degree. Okay, so from south making a 60 degree angle. Okay, so water current. Okay, so this is VW, water current vector. Okay, so this is how you see from south it is moving to east, and what is the angle here? It is 60 degree. It is 60 degree. Okay, so this is what? This is one vector, velocity, motorbike vector, and this is water current vector. Okay, so magnitude is this much, and here what is the magnitude? Magnitude is how much, guys? It is 10 kilometer per hour. Right? Okay, so that's what is the diagram you have here. So what we will do is we can just draw a parallelogram, and this is your resultant vector, right? So resultant vector, see parallel, let me make a differentiation here. So this is your parallelogram. I have joined two vectors, made a parallelogram, and this is your resultant vector r. So what you have to calculate? Find the resultant velocity of a board, resultant velocity. So you have to find the magnitude of r. Okay, what you have to find? Magnitude of r. So what is the formula you have here? So r is equal to under root a square plus b square plus 2ab, right, cos theta. So this is what you have, right? And what is the value of a here? Value of a here is 10. Okay, value of b here is 25. Okay, and what is theta? Okay, let me substitute. A is 10 square plus b is 25 square plus 2 into 10 into 25 into cos theta, right? What is theta? Is theta 60 degrees? No. What is theta? Angle between this one. This is one vector, okay, b vector, and this is, let us consider a vector. This is another vector, right? So this angle, this angle is theta. How much is this angle? You know this angle, right? And you see, this is 90 degree, this is 90 degree, this is 90 degree. So when this is 90 degree, 90 plus this is already 60 over 90 minus 60. So this is actually 30 degree, right? And 30 degree and this much is 90 degree. So 90 degree plus 30 degree, it is 120 degree, right? So you have to find cos 120 degree. Okay. So this is what your calculation that you must do. Cos 120 is minus half. Okay, so hope you will do the calculation. 10 square 100, 25 square plus 2 into 10 into 25 into minus half. If you do, you will get the value of r. Okay, so I just want you to understand the concept, and I just want you to think the problem, okay, the way they asked. Right? So they said motorbike's velocity vector is this and water current velocity is this much. Okay, it's moving here, and understanding this language is very, very important. They said 60 degree east of south. East of south in the sense what? From south, water current is moving towards east. Okay, at what angle? At 60 degree. Okay, so this is 60. And don't ever think that theta is 60. No, theta is what? It's an angle between two vectors. This is one vector, this is another vector. So what is this angle? This much is 90 and this much is 30. So 90 plus 30, it is 120. Okay, so that's how you'll have to think and calculate the problems. That's all about today's class, guys. So we have discussed many things. We have discussed graphical method of vector addition and analytical method of vector addition. And in case of analytical method, we will have to discuss one more small concept that I'll be discussing in my next video. In my next video, I'll also come up with the resolution of vectors. That's also most important topic. Resolution of vectors, subtraction of vectors, multiplication of vectors, everything we will do. So with my next video, I am going to complete these vectors. Okay, so see you all, take care and keep revising the concepts, and do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in the easiest way. Work hard and get very good marks in your examinations. Thank you.